We'll speak now to the Defence Minister, Nosiviwe Mapisa Ngcakula. Minister, if you could kindly join us at this stage. Well, a very good morning to you, Minister. I think let's start first of all with, defence, that it being a core function in terms of a repatriation of these bodies from one country to another. Certainly must have been quite a difficult feat on your part.
Well, yes, certainly, particularly because even though we repatriated those who were injured and brought them to South Africa, I wasn't in the country at the time, but I was kept informed all the way right up until the time the aircrafts landed in the country. So it has been very, very hectic. But you'll also appreciate that this was a joint effort. This was handled from the National Joint Committee of Government, where you have various stakeholders interacting, such as the police, the South African National Defence Force, health, social development, etc. This is a net joint, which is a structure which is permanently there, so that in the event of whatever needs to be attended to in the country, they quickly come together, plan together, strategize together, and do things together. So it's a structure where you see a lot of collaboration and coordination amongst government structures in the security cluster. I must say the actual repatriation of the remains is something which we've been working towards for quite some time as the interministerial team led by Minister Radebe. But obviously the Defence Force, being the entity it is, which does everything with precision, had this enormous responsibility, therefore, of finally drawing up the plan of repatriation right up to how the bodies will be, whether they will be covered or not, sealed, and doing it to a point where, when I was receiving a briefing, I heard that they've had to calculate even the amount of time it takes to seal a coffin and put it on the trucks and into the aircraft. And they've had to calculate how long it takes them to do that. And that to me actually says, indeed, you in the Defence Force, the country has invested in it. I think it's an asset which all of us should always rally around to support, because when ships are down, you need no other structure but the South African National Defence Force to do the actual planning and the actual implementation of a grand plan for these sorts of things.
But certainly there must have been great challenge as well, in that, of course, South Africa had to apply to or adhere to some of the laws in Nigeria before this repatriation takes place. That being some of the challenges for your department in particular?
No, I don't want to say for my department in particular, but I would say for the whole of government. The good thing, though, is that right through this process, government ensured that there is proper consultation on a regular basis with the government of Nigeria. We worked very closely with them. The reason why we see this outcome today, where there are some remains which are being repatriated, it is because of the work which was done between ourselves and the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm particularly impressed by the fact that Minister in the Presidency accepted a deployment by the President to be our special envoy. And I know, standing here, that between the time of his arrival in Nigeria and his return this morning, a lot of work was done. And what it means is that you needed political authority as well to be on the ground and to work closely with the government of Nigeria.
Are there planes on standby for, we understand that the identification process for the remaining South Africans in that country is still continuing, but planes on standby for the eventuality that Nigeria says, well, it's all systems go for those who remain there?
Everything. We are committed as a government of the Republic of South Africa to repatriate all the remains of the deceased. So even those who are not here today, tomorrow, if we get a word that they are ready, obviously will take responsibility of planning for their repatriation back to South Africa. That's a responsibility which our government has committed itself to, and we will stick by it.
Right, thank you very much for your time there, the Defence Minister.